8 Things You Should Know About Sun God Nika. One Piece's Wano country arc was incredibly important in establishing the true character of the protagonist of the series, Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy's devil fruit finally awakened and made him incredibly powerful, strong enough to combat even the likes of Kaido Tototo. With that, the legend of Sun God Nika was properly explained in the story. There are quite a few things that everyone should keep in mind regards to this warrior of the past. Number 8. Nika existed during the Void Century. The Sun God Nika is most likely to have existed during the Void Century. The very first mention of this character comes during Jinbe's fight against Who's Who in the Wano country arc. According to him, Nika was a legendary figure who existed long ago in ancient times. Given that the most prominent ancient time in the One Piece world is that of the Void Century, it is more than likely that Nika existed during this time period. At the same time, no trace of Nika exists at the moment, meaning that nobody in the world knows whether Nika actually existed or not. However, fans know this figure certainly does exist, thanks to the events that unfolded later on in the arc. Number 7. Nika freed slaves. Nika is known to be a hero to the people of the past. Notably, this is because he freed many slaves. This was mentioned to the fans for the very first time by Who's Who of Kaido's Beast Pirates. According to him, when he was locked up after losing the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the prison guard jokingly told him to pray to the sun god. Who's Who went on to mention that in ancient times, Nika was worshipped by people because they believed that he would, one day, free them from their slavery. Number 6. Nika brought smiles. Another thing that Nika is known to have done in ancient times is bring smiles to the faces of people. All the slaves that he eventually freed worshipped him not just because he saved them but because he also brought smiles to their faces. In other words, Nika is known to have been the protector of the happiness of people, especially those who were abused and looked down upon by the oppressive powers of the world. Nika's influence is so tremendous that even centuries after, he was worshipped by people, especially those who were enslaved, because they knew that Nika would one day come to free them from their misery and bring a smile to their faces once again. Number 5. Nika possesses a body of rubber. Nika is known to have possessed a body of rubber. It is unknown if a deity of this name actually existed in the past. However, what fans do know for sure is that a person in the past ate the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika, and gained a body of rubber. After the said person's death, this devil fruit went on to elude the world government for centuries. Meanwhile, to hide its true powers, it was renamed as the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which is what Luffy ended up eating at the very beginning of the series in his flashback. Number 4. Nika fights with the most freedom. Nika is not known to be the strongest of all the warriors in the One Piece world. However, he is certainly known to be the one with the most freedom. In fact, the core ability of the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika, is that it allows the user to fight with immense freedom and also spread this freedom and joy wherever he goes. The only limit to this ability is the imagination of the user, and even Kaido agreed that it is the most freeform form of battling that he had ever seen. According to the Gorosei, Nika possesses the most ridiculous ability in the world. Number 3. Warrior of Liberation. Nika is also known as the Warrior of Liberation. This is simply down to the fact that he fights with immense freedom to the best of his abilities and spreads that freedom and joy wherever he goes. In the process, he liberates people from their misery and ensures that they always have a smile on their faces. It is highly likely that Nika, in the olden times, freed many lands from oppressive rule and, as such, earned the title of the Warrior of Liberation. Number 2. Nika's connection to fishmen. Nika is also known to possibly have held a deep connection to the fishman race. This was first implied by none other than Who's Who when he was fighting Jinbe. Who's Who made some racist remarks towards the fishmen and implied that since humans have been cruel to them and merfolks, they must know quite a lot about Nika and whether or not he existed. To this, Jinbe replied with a powerful punch that knocked Who's Who out of commission. It is unknown if the fishmen actually hold some connection to Nika or not. Logic implies that they might have something to do with it since Fisher Tiger's very own crew was known as the Sun Pirates. Number 1. Joy Boy. It is highly likely that Joy Boy was the very first Nika to exist in the history of the One Piece world. This is evident from the fact that Zunisha mentioned Joy Boy's return when Luffy awakened his devil fruit. His heart started beating like the drums of liberation, which Zunisha has heard in the past. At the same time, Kaido mentioned that the only one capable of beating him would be Joy Boy. When the Yonko defeated Luffy on the rooftop of Onigashima and threw him into the sea, he lamented Luffy's failure on becoming Joy Boy. Later on, Luffy managed to defeat him after awakening his devil fruit and act to ally using the same power that Joy Boy once held.